Yo, what's up, guys? This is Spider Bite. We're continuing our little series on transit secrets. This time, we're going to be taking a look at Mount Weather. Now, Mount Weather is mentioned by the bus driver, Teddy. Attention, passengers, please activate clean suits and disembark for Mount Weather. And when you start looking this stuff up, it's really interesting stuff. And all these things that the actual bus driver mentions, and I think other things that are located on the map, Transit, kind of interrelate. Like they're all based along the same theme. So we're going to take a very, very close look at Mount Weather right now. So here's an overhead view of the area. The Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center is the civilian command facility in Virginia, United States, used as a center of operations for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Located in the Blue Ridge Mountains, access to the Operations Center is available via Virginia State Route 601 in Bluemont, Virginia. The facility is located near Berryville, 48 miles from Washington, D.C. We're going to get to Berryville a little later. It's a major relocation site for the highest level of civilian and military officials in case of national disaster, playing a major role in the U.S. continuity of government in case of one of these disasters. It's the location of a control station for the FEMA National Radio System, a high-frequency radio system connecting most federal public safety agencies and U.S. military with most of the states. FNARS, in short, allows the president to access the emergency alert system. Now, the real story here is what is contained underneath this facility. I mean, underneath this facility, it's virtually an underground city. Now, there are several sources that you can find on the internet for this stuff, for this information, including, and I'll link you to a couple sources. One is DJ Technics, who actually put a lot of this information together. I mentioned him in my previous video. Also, a guy by the name of Pinaz over on CallOfDutyZombies.com, the forums over there. I'm going to link you to a posting that he made that actually puts together a lot of information with regards to the quotes from the bus driver on Transit. But also, I'll link you to an interesting video from the Discovery Channel about Mount Weather, and they actually go into some pretty good detail. I'll show some images in a bit about the underground complex and what it's used for in case of a huge disaster in the U.S. And actually, in the September 11th attacks, most of the congressional leadership was actually evacuated to Mount Weather by helicopter. There are also rumors that there is a bullet train service, underground service, that will run from the Pentagon and the White House to Mount Weather, but that I don't think we can actually confirm that. So let's take a look at some of these the area underneath. The complex is about 300 feet underground and contains approximately 20 multi-story buildings, including private apartments and dormitories or residences, streets and sidewalks, cafeterias. They have a hospital. They have a sewage treatment plant. It's capable of actually, I think it's stocked. I think the Discovery Channel video discusses them being stocked for a month for 200 people, which doesn't seem like much to me, to be quite honest with you. But they are capable of housing up to 2,000 personnel. They've got office buildings. They've got supposedly a small lake fed by fresh water from underground springs, their own mass transit system, and a communication system or broadcast system so that the president or the whoever's in charge at Mount Weather can actually communicate with the public and with other emergency services. There's also discussion, and I'll link you to another posting on, it's actually above topsecret.com on a forum there, but there's also discussion that a shadow government actually operates full-time in Mount Weather and basically replicating various areas of government that actually exist and operate on a regular basis. So if the current government were to be destroyed or taken over or whatever the case may be, if they all died for some reason, we would have this shadow government that is operating in Mount Weather that would take over the governing of the country, which is kind of scary to a degree. But you know, there are arguments about, well, they're not elected officials, how is that representing the public? But, I mean, if we're in such a scenario that they need to operate because the existing government has been destroyed, then really we're talking about, we're not going to democracy here for a while. This is what we're going to do to survive and defend ourselves and get out of whatever mess that we may be in. Um, I think democracy gets thrown out the window at that point, unfortunately. All right, we could go on for hours talking about Mount Weather. There's so much information out there. I mean, you guys take a look at the links that I provided in the description, as well as do your own searches on the internet. I'm sure you can find other information. Really, though, what does it have to do with zombies and transit? What does Mount Weather have to do with it? And until we start taking a look at all of these locations, and there are several mentioned by the bus driver on Transit, until we take a look and try and get a big picture, we won't know for certain. But one thing, and this was kind of interesting, and it may be a bit of a stretch again, but this is from DJ Technics, and one of his theories was that Berryville, this town called Berryville, which is about 20 minutes from Mount Weather. Now take a look at this image of the intersection of East Main Street and Church Street in Berryville. Doesn't it look familiar? Doesn't it kind of look like town? I don't know. It sort of does. And I know. You can probably go to many towns in the U.S. and probably find a similar picture, similar brick, similar building structures on the corner of an intersection. But the fact that it's located in such proximity to Mount Weather specifically discussed by the bus driver, the fact that it's Church Street. I mean, I know we don't have a church here, but we do have a church in town. I believe there's actually a bar and bank at the corner of at opposite corners of this intersection, or cross corners. And I don't know. It kind of looks similar. And that's just one of those out there theories that perhaps town is based upon this intersection in Berryville. I wonder if anyone from Berryville is actually watching this video. If you are, please comment. We would like to hear from you. What do you think? Has town in Transit been based upon the intersection in your town? Or for anybody else in the U.S. or wherever that has a similar intersection to what town looks like, leave a comment. Who knows? Maybe we'll find some other obscure town that we've never heard of, is not referenced in Transit, that has applicability to zombies in some way. I don't know. Anyways, that's what these videos are all about. The Transit Secrets is really trying to come up with linkages to zombies. Why? Obviously, everything is put in there, or a lot of these things are put in there for a reason, particularly quotes from the bus driver. I mean, he's not just going to quote all these locations just because. I mean, they put this stuff in there for a reason. That's why, we talked about the Avogadro last time, and we'll be talking about a bunch of different locations as we go through here, as well as taking a look at various things on the map, Transit, and how they apply. And maybe we can, by the end of it, we can get this huge, big picture. And it's overly complicated. I'm going to tell you right now, it is overly complicated. I agree with you. And it's hard to bring into, and consolidate into like a few minutes. But, yeah, we'll try. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Interesting stuff. And it really, I think it drives a lot of research. And I've never heard of Mount Weather. I've never heard of this big underground facility. You kind of see movies and stuff where the government gets relocated. Okay, there's this facility, whatever. But, until you really start digging into it and imagine the manpower and costs that go into something like this at Mount Weather, it's pretty cool. Anyways, I'm Spider. Hope you enjoyed. I'm out. NGTZombies, the Learning Channel, baby.